Ever wondered what it would be like if Robin Hood was a strong, independent, bisexual black woman, and her band of merry men were a funky, anti-authoritarian hip-hop group, and Sherwood Forest was a low-rent housing project?
Hi everyone, it's Blue. Make sure you like and subscribe and go follow me on my Twitch and my other YouTube channel. Those links are down below. Also my Patreon, where you can find more content on there that I don't post here.
Does it bother me that I wasn't invited to Michael's dinner party?
Oh my gosh. Today I'm going to be reacting to more Critical Drinker on Robin Hood.
Most of you probably know the classic English folktale of Robin Hood, the legendary outlaw who robbed from the rich and
With
gave
the
to the
little
poor,
fox and the
protecting
bear.
the downtrodden people of Nottingham from the tyrannical rule of Prince John and his corrupt sheriff. It's all good stuff that neatly dovetails with the modern Hollywood worldview that it's morally okay to steal other people's property and forcibly redistribute their wealth however you see fit, as long as your victims are rich people. Well, at least until the
Ouch.
people doing the stealing become rich themselves and inexplicably discover a newfound passion for law, order, and so that nobody else can ever take what they've got. But let's not think about that too much, because thinking for yourself is dangerous, don't you know? The very obvious problem with the original version of Robin Hood is that not only was he an aristocratic nobleman, and therefore a member of the ruling class, but he was also part of the worst demographic group of all.
The patriarchy.
Clearly, what we needed was a fresher, less offensive, and more diverse take on the character. Something that would address the sins of the past and carry us forward into a bright, shining future. Something more suited to modern audiences. Enter Director X. With his new show on Canadian TV. Ever wondered what it would be like if Robin Hood was a strong, independent, bisexual black woman, and her band of merry men were a funky, anti-authoritarian hip-hop group, and Sherwood Forest was a low-rent housing project, and Prince John was a rich property developer? Well, wonder no longer, dear viewer, because it's my absolute honour to present to you Robin Hood, or Robin Hoods. Surely the ultimate modern remake for modern audiences. And damn, what a treat it was to watch this one. The first episode alone was almost more than I could handle. In fact, I regularly found myself checking my watch and remarking, "Oh my goodness, I can't believe I've been watching this for 30 minutes already. It barely feels a second over 3 hours." Anyway, the story picks
Oh
up
my
in the
gosh.
fictional working class Canadian city of New Nottingham. Because truly, nothing says gritty urban drama like the land of maple syrup and ice hockey, where Robin and her hip hop group, The Hood, have broken into a construction site so that they can shoot a music video. And oh my goodness, check out the funky beats they're dropping here.
We don't do the flashy, gutter how we live.
But oh no, then the local police arrive to spoil the fun. I mean, how dare they try to enforce property laws and keep teenagers out of dangerous construction sites? So Robin does the sensible thing and tackles one of them into an empty swimming pool, because that's definitely something a 100-pound teenage girl could do, and then they run directly back to their tower block. Damn, no.
Again, it's just the storytelling that feels very unrealistic because I'm already stuck on the teenage girl throwing a police officer into an empty swimming pool. I almost feel bad about, or like worried about being repetitive at this point, because it's actually just another really good example. I mean, this video is new, so I know I reacted to some of the stuff that was like older, but this is new. It's still happening, where it's just a story that has to be remade rather than making your own. And I do think that there's plenty of people who are actually very big fans of not necessarily the idea of stories being remade over and over again, but modernizing stories in certain ways that maybe are old. Because then it's interesting to see, oh wow, they put a spin on it with technology. They put a spin on it with it being modern. Those changes would be interesting. With stories that are maybe older or take places in castles or the 1500s, just examples. Nothing wrong with that. But the fact that it just feels like that's what every new entertainment is doing. Everything is some old story being remade. And it's not the second time, it's like 3 or 4 or 5. It also now just feels push because you're changing everything about the story. Not certain aspects and making it modern. Or, oh, it's usually a movie, let's make it a show. It's everything's changed. Like, you have to change every dynamic of certain characters and positions and what they look like and how they are.
But oh no, then the local police arrive to spoil the fun. I mean, how dare they try to enforce property laws and keep teenagers out of dangerous construction sites? So Robin does the sensible thing and tackles one of them into an empty swimming pool, because that's definitely something a 100-pound teenage girl could do, and then they run directly back to their tower block. Damn, no cop in the world could catch someone this fast. Now, you might think it would be a bad idea to lead the cops straight back to your home address, but luckily the entire tower block comes out to defend them. Then the cops retaliate using the most extreme measures at their disposal.
These hood rats want to play? Get the toys up!
Yup, these delicate, unarmed and highly expensive radio-controlled drones are definitely going to strike fear into the hearts of hardened criminals. Oh, anyway, the cops leave, and this is where we get to know our gang properly. There's Robin herself, who I'm guessing likes to party pretty hard with the boys, if you catch my drift.
Fill up the condom jar if you need a re-up.
Classy as fuck. Apart from Robin herself, there's Much. Just Much. Anyway, Much is fast and smart, but reckless. How exactly do I know this? Well, I was able to pick up on some of the subtle hints woven into the screenplay, you see.
You're fast and you're smart, but don't be reckless.
She's also a self-taught technology genius, because if there's one thing we need more of in our entertainment, it's teenage girl boss geniuses with Howard Hughes levels of engineering capabilities that they just kind of learned by themselves. Rounding out the trio of modern storytelling archetypes is Alan, the unthreatening male sidekick, whose blandly cheerful, laid-back and agreeable personality ensures that he'll never be seen as a challenge to Robin's unquestionable authority over the group. You just sit back and know your place, Alan. Oh yeah, and Robin's old friend Little John shows up on leave from the military to say hi and catch up with her. So what do you think he chooses to do? Maybe grab a coffee and have a chat? Go out for a beer? Of course not. He grabs a giant stick and starts hitting her with it. Oh my goodness, they're doing the thing from the film! We also get to meet the villain of the show, John Prince. See what they did there?
You must have a goddamn IQ of 160.
And in a show with so much diversity on display, it's nice to see that a white man gets to make an appearance as a greedy, corrupt, avaricious property tycoon. What are the odds, eh? He's also got a thing for ancient treasure, like this charming collection of gold coins in his ivory tower. I wonder if this particular plot point might become relevant later. Anyway, John plans to demolish the Sherwood housing project to make way for new developments, and naturally the local residents aren't happy about this, so they stage a protest at his headquarters led by Robin's activist mother. But John's not about to stand for that kind of shit, so he sends the police to arrest her, and oh no, she gets shot and paralysed in the melee. You know, I wonder what the show could be alluding to with this particular piece of visual symbolism. Nah, I got nothing. Anyway, Robin and her sister want to take them to court, but naturally they don't have enough money to pay the legal fees. Unless...
If you genuinely watch something with coming into it thinking, I don't know why they would change the characters like this or make these changes to the story. Well, the story can carry it and still make it good. I think actually a good example is The Last of Us. I think a lot of people kind of complained before watching it, oh, they changed some things about some characters that were in the video game. Why'd you change that? Like, what was the point? But the show was so good at the storytelling and the small things that they did change. No matter what your opinion is, you can see that it did well. Like, people watched it, there was really good feedback from it. It did well. Even if people still didn't like the change, the overall opinion of the show is that it was okay. So I think the storytelling is important, even if you have a problem or don't have a problem with aspects that they're doing in the show. I mean, so clearly the main thing that they're failing on would be it's very corny, it's very predictable. It's like, you know what's going to happen. The lines are just not realistic. The scenarios aren't realistic.
Robin and her sister want to take them to court, but naturally they don't have enough money to pay the legal fees. Unless... But Drinker, you paragon of social justice, I hear you say, surely a one-of-a-kind historical treasure like this would be almost impossible to sell, because the only people who could actually afford it would have to know that it was stolen property, and therefore wouldn't be interested in buying it. Well, you need to silence that bigotry and keep those questions to yourself, mister. Director X has got this one in hand. Now ask yourself this, if you had to infiltrate a heavily guarded building at night, what kind of disguise would you choose to wear to help you blend into the shadows? Well, if your answer is a glow-in-the-dark neon mask, then congratulations, you've truly ascended to the same intellectual as Robin and her merry, diverse individuals. But wouldn't you know it, John Prince and the Sheriff of New Nottingham just so happened to be there for a secret meeting at that precise moment in the middle of the night, and a fight breaks out, and naturally John and the Sheriff choose to use the most logical and effective weaponry available to billionaire businessmen and law enforcement officers today: medieval swords and spears. But that's okay, because Robin has something even better up her sleeve. You know, it truly is amazing how cleverly this show blends together the old and the new, spinning the classic English legend into a fresh new time, culture and location without ever feeling forced or contrived. The way it works in subtle, understated social commentary without hammering the audience over the head with it. The complex cast of characters that never fall into tired and overplayed stereotypes that we've seen 100 times before in modern productions. The top quality cinematography and performances, married with compelling and intelligent dialogue, really cements this show as one of the best examples of modern entertainment that I can think of, and I can absolutely see why it's been such a big hit with audiences. Truly, Robin Hood didn't just subvert my expectations, it completely and utterly Friar Tucked them. And if you let it into your life, it can do the same for you too. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
The whole point, what it's known for, is also turned into something else. Don't even call it Robin Hood anymore then. Because now it's not taking from the rich to give to the poor. It's taking from the rich because of the medical bills? Or for vengeance because something happened? It's questionable now. I know I didn't watch the show, but if I am basing it off of just what he said, that is what I picked up from it. Of course, it's biased. I mean, it's like just based off of his opinion, and he did his opinion. But for the most part, it was almost kind of like a summary. Sure, his opinion was in there, but if the facts were that is what happened in this order, and then that was the reason for taking the money. Interesting. The lines sound like something that you could really quite like literally watch from probably one of the Marvel shows that Disney has already done. Kind of has the same vibe. Which I do also know that he had said that this is Canadian, so I apologize for making so many comparisons, but it's just the pushing and feeding of, oh, I picked up that she was a reckless but witty character. It wasn't witty, but he said something like that, and then yeah, word for word, it's just feeding you what they want you to think about these characters because they're too lazy to make you pick it up on your own. We could just watch her being reckless. If you're clever and you know how to story write, you can make us all as an audience think she's reckless on her own. But I guess that's too much work. So we're just gonna speed through the story, make our subtle points, and then move on. So yeah, I can't really say much more than that, but yeah, I still hope that you enjoyed this video. If you have not already liked and subscribed or checked out Critical Drinkers videos for any reason, I would think that you have. But if you haven't, go check out his YouTube channel. That's where I got the video from. And then also like and subscribe mine if you haven't already. And I'll see you all next time.